Hey guys, uh, back again. Um, Last night, um, the little clip I put out there, it was called uh, "So They Wouldn't Do That Here," right? And tonight, I wanted to cover a little bit on Obama's speech last night, but also I'm going to bounce back to that one. So I don't know how far I'll get because I'm trying to keep these short. But um, calling this one tonight, uh, Mr. Slick. Okay, and kind of going back to referring back to yesterday, they wouldn't do that, right? Uh, and how much bull that really is. It's uh, it's like it's like with on that. If you remember on that clip, if you didn't go back and look at it, but Obama saying that you could keep your doctor and you could keep your health insurance if you had some. Okay, if you have followed this like some of us have, the whole scenario. This is what he didn't say. That back then he said you could keep them, but he didn't tell you that that your costs were going to triple. He didn't tell you that um, you can keep your doctor if you can afford the co-pays and the spin downs and all that stuff they have for certain doctors, for specialists of any kind. He didn't say any of that. And so he didn't lie, you could say, because you can keep them if you can afford it. And you see, that's the lie. I mean, it's the untruth, it's the unsaid truth. And he said that about the guns, and yet everything that he does now is about the guns. And some of you are going to sit there and you argue about, well, he just wants more controls. No, he wants to take them away. All you have to do is go in history, and you'll see that. But even more than that, you can go to some of the other senators and congressmen that back him up, and even some of the uh, police departments or mayors in some of the cities that back him up. And see, they're not as slick as he is, and they've come out and they've said it what they're going to do. Yeah, they can't walk out and say we're going to do that. He knows that, so he doesn't say it. Some of them are not as, like I said, not as sharp as he is. And they've said it. They're coming for the guns. And history repeats itself over and over again. And it's the same way that Hitler did it, everybody else. There's nothing going on here. And then you get into a lot of things, and I might cover them on another time. But why DHS has bought up 4 billion rounds of ammo when they don't go outside the United States, those type of things. One that I might touch, I guess, on tonight. I'll get into that maybe. But the first part of his speech was on first of all the borders and the Muslims and the shootings in San Bernardino. Okay, he touched on them, but what he didn't do is he refused to ever come to grips or to say that they thought it was terrorist activity. He tried to hint at workplace violence and all kinds of things. The truth is that before he made that speech, they already knew that these people had been paid $28,000 2 weeks before this happened, and that they had been in contact with people in the Middle East. They already knew these things. They'd even been checked out by I think it was CIA a week before this. So, and then there's some other things that are going on there that if you get into, you're going to get into finding out that something that I and a lot of other people have already picked up on. That's what we call a false flag. And a lot of you are going to deny that, but there's too many things that say otherwise. And then there's the other part that a lot of you don't understand what a false flag is. It doesn't mean that nothing really happened there. It just means that this government, one of its departments, set this thing in motion in some form or another. And they even have people that get involved in these things that they're actually using. They're playing them like a fiddle, just like they are the general population. And these people a lot of times don't even know they're being used. And so it can be a false flag. It's something that they planned. They're just not sure when it's going to happen or when it's going to kick off. But it achieves certain goals that that they're after. And in Obama's case, he's pushing for guns, and he's pushing for open borders to destroy this country. And he knows he can't accomplish that if too many people can fight back. Okay? And opening the borders is we're already in economical trouble, you guys, and anybody that denies that is really out of their minds. But what we can't do, we can't take care of business now, and you're letting thousands of people come into this country that we can't take care of. We're not taking care of our own right now. And if you're one of those people that supports this thing and say, oh, we got to let them in, no, we don't. And I'm going to ask you a question straight up. If you're backing this up and you want the open borders and you think we should be taking care of all these people, with what? We don't have it. We're not taking care of our own. I'm going to keep saying that. And I'm going to ask you this straight out. If you're backing this up and you're mouthing off, when's the last time you stood up before any of this took place for any of the homeless veterans out there or any of the other poor people out there? Were you adamant like you are now about open borders and Obama's doing the right thing and blah, blah, blah? You weren't, because you know what? I'm on the bottom right now. And I haven't seen any of you guys' faces. I haven't heard from you. I haven't seen you doing anything to help any of us. Okay? So you can take that and put it where the sun don't shine, as far as I'm concerned. But we can't do it. It's not possible. But that's what he's selling. He may package it up and say something else, but that's his agenda. Excuse me. So I'm calling this Mr. Slick because it's what he doesn't say most of the time. And if you followed him long enough, and I mean really followed him and listened to what he said, you'd understand that. And one of the things I know I'm pushing this out further than I wanted to. One of the things I wanted to say that he said in his speech, he talked about Congress. He blamed it on them and the Senate and whatever and he just doesn't understand why you can't just take guns away from anybody that's on a no-fly list. Well, see that, and some of you guys say, well, what's wrong with that? It's because you forgot what he said a while back. You know, when he got up one night and signed in the NDDA thing saying that he could kill Americans on American soil or abroad without any due process. You remember that? Okay. Now, do you remember not too long ago, 3-4 months ago, 5 months ago, DSH came out with a list, and that Christians, conservatives, who else? There was another group. Veterans, returning veterans, were all on terrorist lists. You understand that if you're on one of those lists, you're on a no-fly list. Do you understand that computes into what he's asking now? See, he didn't talk about that. He talked about the bad guys. But you have to understand something. This isn't about the bad guys. This is about taking and destroying the Second Amendment without coming out and saying that. I guarantee you I'm on a no-fly list, just for what I'm talking about right now. I'll guarantee you if you're a Christian, conservative, veteran, you're on one of those lists. I guarantee it. That's why I say he's Mr. Slick. It's what he's not saying. It's what he says to you to get you to kind of believe what he's saying, I guess. Okay? And I'm going to have to do this another night because I'm not going to push this out any further. Okay? But this is why you guys got to wake up. This stuff isn't rocket science, man. And you can Google any of this. Anything that I've told you, put a couple words together on what it was that you're not buying or whatever. Google it. See what you come up with. Okay? All right. Talk to you later. Have a good night. Bye.